Hey Mimos, how's it going? How's your weekend going? You having fun? You doing well? Are you in the snow? Are you buried? Are you cold? I don't know. It's nice here. It almost rained yesterday. Maybe we got a few drops, but it's nice and warm today. I think we're gonna be warm, kind of like Sochi. Are you watching the Olympics? I'm having a blast watching the Olympics. I'm totally, completely obsessed with the Olympics. I've got it, like, it comes on 4 different channels on TV, or 5 different channels, and so I've got them all set up to record different things, and my goal is to just watch everything, at least a little bit of each event, so I can really get a good flavor of it. The only event I'm not really interested in is the ice hockey. And I know so many people love ice hockey, but it just doesn't interest me. I guess because it's, you know, a team sport and I prefer the individual sports in the Olympics. It's more interesting to me, and that they're unusual. Ice hockey is something that you can see all the time, whereas the other sports are something, at least I only see every 4 years. But I get totally drawn into, into these backstories. It was Hank Green earlier this week on one of his videos was mentioning how these little documentaries they get, the little bios of the athlete, get you just like gripping stories. You really get drawn into it. Totally loving curling. I really get into curling, except the women's American curling team just sucks. I mean, they're like the Denver Broncos. They're losing all of their games. In fact, they one end, which is kind of like an inning in curling, they gave up 7 points. There's only 8 points possible that you can give. They gave up 7 points in a game. I think it was might have been against Russia. But they checked and it was a record. It was a world record for the Olympics. Nobody has ever lost 7 points in one end. So yay, go USA. Skeleton, totally into the skeleton. That is just such a weird, terrifying looking sport where you go face first down a sheet of ice going almost 90 miles per hour with your chin about an inch off the ice. I showed that a little bit in my video yesterday, my burning on there. This was on the pine plywood, and so I heated up that iron and I went shh, and I just went so that's why it looks really hokey. But anyway, thank you for all of you who have been bidding on this. Don't forget the auction still goes through next Friday for the pair of these. And if you didn't see my little backstory on my website about this started out as an Olympic project, because if you'll remember last week on Mere Minutes, I asked for your suggestions for Olympic projects, and a lot of you had great ideas, and the one that kept surfacing was an Olympic torch. And so I thought that would be pretty cool to make an Olympic torch. And I started playing around with the design and working out some things, and then I thought, well, I don't know if that's a really universal project, how many people are going to want to build that, and then after this week that video will probably just get lost in my channel. So I thought, well, maybe if I did the Olympic torch that was shaped like a sconce, you know, like a wall sconce, which is what these are, that would be cool. So I started designing that, and then I realized that if the flame of the torch is up here, and if the candle is sitting there, it's a confusing message, I think. And so I made the long torch and then put the candle down here like on a regular sconce, and that still just didn't make sense. Why would you have a flame on the torch up here and a candle down there? And it was a really difficult week for me to figure out what to do. And so it was on Monday, I just walked out to the shop and I thought I'll just kind of look around and see if I can get inspired, and that really helps sometimes. And so I found that wood, that bamboo wood. I don't know how many of you have been watching the show long enough to remember when it was a bamboo flooring company that sent me some little samples of bamboo, which is incredible stuff. And I saw that and it reminded me of flames. And so I thought, well, that sort of retains my original idea of the torch. So these are torch-like, I guess. So you know what I was thinking about doing this week? I was thinking about making a spiral cutting jig for my router. No, I'm not. Those of you who watch a lot of woodworking videos on YouTube will understand that joke, but I'm not gonna do a spiral cutting jig. I don't really know what I would make spirals for. I think if I had to make spirals, I would probably just draw them on, or I would paint them on. That's what I would do. Oh, I got more stuff this week from Gene Simmons. No, not that Gene Simmons. Check this out. I guess he must have known that I mentioned I was thinking about building some toys this year, and I would really like to do that. He sent me this. Now look at this. It's a truck, and it's got the pickup part on here like that, which is pretty cool. It looks like it's all made with just 2x4s. But wait. This part comes off like that, and you can replace it with a camper. I think that is pretty cool. So yeah, I do want to, oh, it's made with 2x4s. It looks like he just laminated them together. So that's, what a great project this would be. I'm gonna do something like, he actually sent me plans for this too. So thanks, Gene, that was neat. And he sent me some other odds and ends that were really fun too. And oh, like this was really interesting. This is one of those deals, you've probably seen these before, where you put a stack of sanding discs down in there, and then when you want to change out your sander, you just peel it off and go bloop bloop and plop it down on there, and it gets them perfectly aligned each time, which is good because it is kind of always hard to line those holes up. So thanks again, Gene. Saw a movie yesterday. I saw the Lego Movie. Lego Movie was really, really funny. I really recommend it. In fact, there was, I think I heard more laughs from adults in the theater than kids. Really smart movie. The way the writers handled it, they just really took a great direction with that movie. And if you ever have had kids who have played with Legos, you will understand so many of the references. Hear the birds? It's funny because the birds must be noisy all the time. I think there's a lot of seagulls and sometimes, I don't know what they are. But I must hear them all the time, but don't pay any attention to it. The only time I pay attention to them is when I'm shooting a Mere Minutes video, I guess. Oh, and don't forget, I don't have a regular video this week, but I'll probably do another Mere Minutes next week, or maybe even during the week. I'm not really sure what my plans are going to be this week. So until then, I'll see you later.